Blume edit. The Blume edit. The Blume edit.
The Blume
edit. The Blume edit.
You're listening to The Blume Edit, where we talk all things beauty, business, and being unfiltered. I'm your host, Kia, from Blume Aesthetics. Welcome to The Blume Edit. Today's guest is one you've definitely seen lighting up your screen. From Beauty and the Geek to travel guides, Carly Fisher brings a dose of humour, heart, and hustle to everything she does. But beyond the camera and travel content, she's someone who's navigated life in between, public judgment and personal growth, all while keeping it 100% real. Let's get into it.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for coming. Have you been busy?
I've been very busy.
Good.
Very. Yeah.
Lots of filming,
Lots
travelling.
of filming. Yeah. Sorry, my phone just vibrated. It's going to throw that on the floor. It's probably someone from the office. Bloody. See what I mean? Phone's constantly going 24/7. No, it's been really good. I'm on a break at the moment, which is rare. A cheeky 5-week break, which is the biggest break I've had ever in Travel Guide's history of being home. So yeah, it's been really nice.
Any plans? Any travel of your own that's not?
Look, there is so much that I actually want to do outside of Travel Guides, but obviously because Travel Guides goes for such a long time, I don't think a lot of people realise how long we're actually filming for. So I usually film from August to the end of January. So really I have like February, March, April, May, June, July, like a 6-month window. And me and my partner Jet want to do a big bunch of travel next year. But it's kind of like, I got to wait till I see where I go so then I don't like double up. Yeah. So, which is funny because my next trip that I leave for on Thursday, I actually know where I'm going. And it's a trip that me and Jet really want to do. He's like, well, we're going back. We're doing it again. I said, we'll 100% do it again because I'm only popping in and out. So
you'll get to find all the best bits to then go and redo.
Yeah. And that's what a lot of what I kind of say is like you go somewhere and, you know, you kind of find out if you want to go back or not. Yeah. And 9 times out of 10, I always want to go back. So the list is just growing. Yeah.
Well, Carly, so happy to have you on the Blume Edit. Let's start with your TV journey. So how did Beauty and the Geek come about? Did you expect that kind of exposure?
Beauty and the Geek was a real random thing that just like randomly popped up. I one day was on Instagram and this is when I didn't really have a following. I think I only had around, actually, I wouldn't even know, but it wasn't like a huge following. And I never ever used to check my request folder. You know how you get like the request folder? And it said there was like one next to it and I checked it and it was this girl that had messaged me and she's like, I'm a casting agent. I'm casting for this show called Beauty and the Geek. And I full blown thought it was a scam. I was like, I'm not replying to this. This is weird. This is a scam. And I told my brother and I told my family and my brother's like, you have to contact this girl because this could be true. I said, I'm not doing it. I think I'm a bit rogue for Beauty and the Geek because I'd watched it before and all the girls seemed pretty prim and proper. And then because I'd opened the message, obviously she'd seen that I'd opened it and she messaged me again a couple of days being like, I know this is really random and really weird, but I would really, really like to have a chat. And my brother was like, every day, are you calling her back? Calling her back, you know, Carly, this could be your big break because you're clearly not going to uni. I was like, oh, okay. He goes, I really feel like this could be good for you. Anyway, long story short, I ended up contacting that lady back and she's like, I just want to have a quick 15-minute phone call. And I had it was supposed to be a quick 15-minute phone call. And I ended up sitting on Skype with this beautiful girl and we just talked for about an hour. And she met my dog at the time. I was just sitting at home and she's like, oh, well, it was really great to talk to you. Like, you'll hear from us, you know, blah, blah, blah. And I kind of got off the phone. I was like, that was really random and I didn't really think much of it. And literally an hour later, I got a message saying, we want to invite you to the castings here in Perth. So I was like, okay, this is really, really weird. And I ended up going to the castings. It was at Pan Pacific. You know how they have them in there, in their rooms. And there was a couple of girls sitting before me and, you know, I'm sitting out there and the girls would come in and out about 15 minutes. I ended up being in my interview for about an hour because I can talk. I'd been kind of liaising with the people that I was speaking to on Skype because it was COVID during that time. So they couldn't fly over. So I was sitting in front of a microphone and all these people on this screen and I was being filmed and I'm like, oh, this is fucking crazy. And I just ended up chatting to these people like they were my mates for so long and I came out of it feeling really good and I didn't really expect anything. An hour later, got a phone call. We loved you. We're going to send you all this information. And then it just snowballed from there. And then within a month, I got a phone call I think it was a Friday morning before I went to work going, pack your bags, you're coming to Sydney. And I just got goosebumps saying that. And I was just like, what the fuck is happening? And within a week, I was on a flight and I was off to Sydney to film Beauty and the Geek. And that is literally how that all came around.
Wow. Just like that.
Just like that.
You've never looked back.
Never
since the
looked
beginning.
back. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, you were a standout. You were confident, kind, hilarious. But reality TV can be tough. What was something the audience didn't see?
Beauty and the Geek was very lighthearted. It was actually a very lighthearted experience. And you would watch it on the telly and people knew that it was a lighthearted show. It felt like it was lighthearted. It was really funny. You know, you could see there wasn't like, no one was like against each other, even though it was a competition. You actually forget that it's a competition. And it wasn't until I got to when you're going to the bottom three where it actually hit me and I went, holy shit, this is a competition. And I can say that wholeheartedly throughout the whole experience, you forget that you're in a competition and you just immerse yourself into this experience. And yeah, it was really fun, but it brought out a lot of emotion in people. I cried every day. And you're crying not because you're sad, but you know, the whole aspect of the show is, you know, they get these 10 guys who are a bit nerdy, a bit geeky, reserved. And you get these 10 girls who are usually bright and bubbly and, you know, they're putting us together and we are kind of working together through these shields and these walls that we have up because people look at, you know, girls and think, you know, those type of girls and think they're really bright, bubbly, everything must be really good going on. And then look at these guys and think, you know, oh, you know, they're obviously really nerdy, really shy. And I'm telling you right now, all those guys, all they wanted to do was socialize. All they wanted to do was just have fun and put themselves out there, but they were so like recluse. Whereas, you know, with the girls, I think what we were kind of trying to, I guess, get out is that just because you look a certain way or you put yourself out there a certain way doesn't mean that's always the case. And I guess you could say like in the show, they always kind of try to pull out a bit of a sob story out of you, but I don't really feel like I had a sob story. But then they kind of like when you're in interview, kind of like this, they ask you like questions and be like, you know, like, so why are you single? And like they say it in that voice. Why, you know, and how does that make you feel? It's kind of like a therapy session. And it kind of got to me a little bit because you're sitting in this room and they're looking at you going, you know, and I'm just like, oh my God. And I think my thing is they wanted to know why I was single. You know, you're full of love and you want to be in a relationship and, you know, you love love and blah, blah, blah. And my whole thing was like, I just don't feel like I always felt like I was a little bit too much. And that is why I kind of was single in a way. So that was like my sob story, I guess you could say. And like my geek, Aaron, bless his beautiful little soul, was like, I love you just the way you are, Carly. Like, you are not too much for anybody and, you know, blah, blah, blah. So I think what you, like, as a whole, you could kind of say what people didn't really see was, you know, the behind the scenes of that. Us going to each other's rooms and sitting with each other all night while people are finally getting things off their chest and bringing all of that up. And, yeah. And I would say another thing you didn't really see behind the scenes for that as well was the friendships off camera.
Yeah.
Because they really focus on your friendship with your geek. They didn't focus on like the friendships that you formed with the girls and stuff like that.
Yeah. It doesn't seem like a reality TV show where someone's made out to be a villain.
No.
Someone's, you know, a hero. It seems a lot like it's a lot more family friendly, but then also with
with a bit of emotion and a bit of like humor and a bit of everything. It was very what's the word? Not heartfelt. It was
wholesome.
Just very wholesome. It was very wholesome.
Yeah.
So it was really good. I had a beautiful experience. I met so many good people. I won it. So random. That was insane. I even forget that even happened really. I'm like, what the fuck? Yeah, it was crazy. But yeah.
Cool. Great experience.
Yeah,
for you.
great experience.
Well, there's this perception that if you're on TV, you must be super secure. Did being on reality TV ever make you question your body image or self-worth?
That's a really good question because it is very common. And I know a lot of people that have absolutely suffered at the brutality of what the public and people can say on social media and, you know, a bit of online trolling, I guess you could say. I'm a very I don't give a fuck person, as you know, Kia. And I wouldn't say body image no. And that's not because I think I'm the bloody be all end all, but I just really kind of put things into perspective and I'm like, why would I care what someone has to say about me if I don't even care? So I'm actually pretty good like that. I tend to handle that stuff pretty well. Sometimes I think I don't give a fuck enough and that's my problem. It's like I probably should care a bit more, but I really don't. Like, why would I care what bloody Susan from Wollongong was saying about me when I'm getting paid to sit on the beach and drink cocktails? You know what I mean? Even if I am a bit rogue, like, I think that's what more I cringe at is the stuff that I say, not necessarily how I look. Like, sometimes I would wear an outfit and it will air and I'm like, oh, why don't I wear that? That is ugly. Or my hair and makeup wasn't very good that day because I've been up since the crack of dawn and I just whacked anything on it. I was like, I'm having a CBF day. I've been on the road for 20 days straight. And then I look back and gone, I really wish I put a little bit more effort into my hair or something like that. So it's not that deep for me, really.
I think that's what gives you sort of character though. It's like,
Yeah.
because you don't care, that's
Yeah.
part of your
Yeah.
persona, you
Yeah.
know?
I feel like if I cared, I would sink, you know? I know a lot of girls, a lot of people do. I'm not trying to discredit that because I know a lot of people do really struggle. And fair enough, because it is awful. And, you know, it's only human not to like when you hear bad things being said about you or you read. But I don't know, I have this like weird like guilty pleasure. I like love reading the comments and just laughing. Like me and my family will sit in the lounge room and we'll read out my hate comments and we just cry of laughter because some of them are so funny. Like someone called me like a bimbo the other day. I'm like, that's not an insult, I actually am. Like, do you know what I mean? Like a bogan bimbo. And I'm like, okay.
So accurate.
Oh, yeah. Like, is that supposed to upset me? Or like, you know, just stuff like that. Or, you know, everything they comment on is quite superficial. So I don't really care about that. That's not my...
Amazing.
Yeah.
Well, you've said before that confidence isn't about having it all together. It's about showing up as you are. Was there a specific turning point where you started owning that fully?
I think you could be deep-rooted in yourself and confident in yourself and feel really grounded and still have your days where you're like, I can't do this. I'm not good enough to do this. I have them all the time. I doubt myself all the time. I'm like my biggest supporter, but almost my biggest doubter as well. I don't know. It's a real odd thing. Like, I think for so long, I really suffered with severe imposter syndrome. And I had no idea that was even a thing until someone said to me one day, because I was explaining to them how I felt. I can't remember who it was. And they were like, oh, it sounds a lot like imposter syndrome. And I was like, what the fuck is that? And I did a little Google. I was like, oh my God, that actually does sound like me. And I think for so long, I really struggled because like when I went on Beauty and the Geek, after that ended, I was like, that was an amazing experience. I didn't try go on telly again. I didn't apply for anything. I just thought that was just it for me. You know, I really love my normal mundane life. It's not really mundane. I'm always doing something weird and crazy, but it's normal to me. Then the travel guides experience was gifted to me. And when I kind of took that on, I think for so long I just was like, do I deserve this? It's really odd because I felt like I definitely deserved it. But for so long I was just like, yeah, this, you know, I'm just a normal girl. I'm like, I grew up in Gero. I'm just from Perth. You know, I'm not anything like, I never thought of myself up on a pedestal, or I never really thought of myself like this. Even now when people say to me like, oh, you know, well, you're so famous now, I'm like, oh, I cringe. Oh, sorry, I'm not supposed to say that. I cringe when people say that. And I know they don't mean it in that type of way because, you know, you're on telly, people automatically think famous. I'm like, D-grade celeb doll. Like it's not famous to me. It's just, I'm just me. So I think I did struggle with that for a very long time. But I think it comes down to who you surround yourself with. And I can honestly say, like, my first season of Travel Guides, I was feeling that way. And then I got offered another season. And I was like, oh, okay, I must be doing something like they must like me. Still felt a little bit like that. Get offered a third season. I'm like, okay, clearly this is the path I'm supposed to be going down. Clearly I am doing something right. I just need to keep, you know, believing in that. And I think, again, who you surround yourself with plays such a big role in that. And I can honestly say, like, my partner who I have now, we've only been together since the start of the year, but since I've been with him, it has just completely changed my perception on myself and my abilities and where I am. And that man has just changed everything. I know it sounds like sounds a bit corny, but it's true. Like Jet is the most loving, caring, understanding human and just is my biggest supporter and makes me feel like I can do anything. And I feel like even in the last 6 months, my confidence has skyrocketed and he believes in my delusional dreams. And he goes, I don't think that's crazy. And I'm like, oh. And he goes, that's why you'll get somewhere because you believe that you can have that, you know? So I think, meeting my partner was kind of that pivotal turning point for me.
And it's not just about luck. Like, you know, when you first went into Beauty and the Geek, you know, could have been luck, like getting that opportunity.
Yeah.
But then you've worked hard and it's actually, you've attracted these opportunities that have come to you.
Yeah.
So it would be hard for you to think, have I even worked hard to get here?
Well,
but it's not working hard. It's your personality.
Yeah,
it's who you are.
And that's exactly it because, you know, there are all these people that apply every year for travel guides, right? And they never get in. And, you know, even that whole story and how I got into travel guides, again, it literally just in my lap.
Easy.
In a way. And that's why I think I felt that imposter syndrome for so long. And I'm like, oh, you know, people work really hard to get here or apply for these shows and put so much into their applications and you just get gifted this. But like, I know there's a higher reason and for why I did get this opportunity and it has definitely changed my life in so many ways. And I know that this is only the tip of the iceberg in a sense. Yeah.
So when the travel guides call came, how surreal was that moment? Did you expect it?
No. Oh God, no. Do you want to know the honest truth? I had a year from hell. I'm not going to go into the nitty gritty, but I just had not had a very good year. Probably like the worst year for my mental health and just emotional health and just not very good. And I was coming out of the end of quite a toxic relationship or like a toxic ending of it, you could say. And I was like, not having a good day. And I was like day 3 of mental breakdown, laying in bed, like my face was so puffy. Like I've actually got a photo of myself. I can laugh at it now, but it wasn't funny at the time. I was bloody fighting for my life. And I was like 3 o'clock in the afternoon and I had a missed call. And then I got a text saying, hi, Carly, this is so-and-so from Channel 9. Just calling you about an opportunity. Your number was given to me. Give me a call back when you can. And it's funny because just before that, I was like, as I said before, just like middle of mental breakdown. And I, without sounding too negative or like Debbie Downer, I don't know who I was talking to. I didn't know if I was talking to God or Jesus or the universe or spirit guides. I don't know. But I was literally like, I can't do this anymore. I was like, I need you to give me something because I've got nothing left. And I'm making it sound funnier than it was because it was actually quite not good at all. I was like, I'm done. I need help. I don't know what to do. I've got literally nothing to give anymore. Like I'm a shell of a human. And 14 minutes later, I got that phone call.
Wow.
That's a true, I just got goosebumps again. That is a true story.
Yeah.
A hand on my heart. That is a true story. And I got that phone call and I obviously didn't answer because I was in the middle of bawling my eyes out.
Mentee B.
And then I got, full blown mentee B. And then I got that text and I kind of picked up my phone. And I was like, I pick up my phone. I'm like immediately stopped crying. I was like, what the fuck? I was like, no, this must be a scam. Anyway, I called Bree. No, I didn't call Bree. I called the number. I thought, you know what, I'm going to call this number back. And I called this number back and it is now my big boss, Hugh, the executive producer of the show. And he's like, hi, Carly. Sorry, it's really, really random. I'm on the phone, mind you, mid sniff. I'm like, it's so funny. I'll show you the photo after. Because I took a photo and sent a photo of my face to Brie just to show her how upset I actually was. Why do girls do that? That's so random. And I called him. He's like, hi, Carly. My name's Hugh. I'm from Channel 9, so-and-so. Your number was given to me because we have an opportunity coming up and I just wanted to know if it would be something you're interested in. And I was like, okay. And he goes, have you ever heard of the show Travel Guides? And I just went silent. It was like, just silent. I was on the phone like this. I was like, no fucking way. He's like, are you there? I said, yeah, I'm here. I'm just trying to digest what the fuck you just said. And he goes, I know, it's a lot. I said, yeah, I love that show. I've watched that so many times. I love that show. Me and Brie actually saw they were casting a few months prior and Brie tagged me and going, should we? And I was like, haha. And then we just never did anything about it. It was just like an afterthought. I said, yeah, I love that show. And he goes, right, well, your name's been put forward. Is there someone that you'd want to do this show with? Someone that you're very close with, like a family member or a friend that you've been friends with for a very long time. And I said, there would only be one family member that I'd do it with, and that's my brother. And all my long-term friends have babies. So, and there's just no way. Afterwards, they were like, the kids could have stayed at home. We would have come with you. I said, but I've got one friend in mind, and that is Bree. And he goes, okay, how long have you known each other for? And I said, only a couple of years. We did Beauty and the Geek together. He was like, oh, okay. Well, how about you give her a call and we'll contact her as well and we'll organise a Skype tomorrow because it's urgent as, if this all works out, you'll be leaving in 3 weeks. I was like, what is happening? I'm in my nightgown, I got a tissue up my nose. I'm not well. I'm like, what is happening? I get off the phone and I'm kind of like silent for a bit and I just like, I look up and I'm like, what are you doing up there? What is happening? And then I call Bree and she's like 5 wines deep at the Mission Impossible, bloody meeting Tom Cruise at the Mission Impossible red carpet in Sydney. And she like ran to the toilet. I was like, you have to listen to what I'm saying. Go somewhere quiet right now. I said, I just got a call about going on travel, guys. And she was like, what the fuck? I said, yeah. And I said that I would love if you would come with me or like we would do it together because it was like a duo, right? But they have to interview us to see, how we go and how we work well together on telly or, I just knew that she would be the best for this role, And she goes, I can interview right now. She's in the toilet. I said, nah, we'll do it tomorrow. We'll do it in the morning. So anyway, I get back in contact with Hugh and I said, yep, let's set it up. And they're like, right, we need to do this first thing in the morning. I think it was like 9 a.m. Sydney time, 7 a.m. Perth time. And I'm up at the crack of dawn and we're on this Skype interview with himself and another executive producer. And they're just asking us a whole bunch of silly questions like, where have you travelled before? Where have you travelled before? Have you travelled together? And we had once, we went to Bali. And I, again, was in the middle of like, not a good relationship. So I just spent the whole time bloody crying like a sad sack. But we had a really good time together. But because we live apart, when we would part ways, we'd bawl our eyes out, we're like sisters. So that was the only time we'd really ever travelled together. But even that short little holiday was full of just so much funny stuff and just so many good times. And yeah, I think us kind of explaining that holiday and, all of that kind of sold it to them. But I think like the final thing, because we did another Skype interview after that, I think the next day, that really sold it to them was like, what's something like really funny that's happened with you guys? I'm like, right, what can we tell them that is not going to like put them off us? Pretty much, what can we tell them without it being too much? Not that we've ever done anything bad, but you're not going to tell them what you were doing at Mexicola at 3 a.m. in the morning, are you? So there was this one video where we were like getting ready to get on the plane and we were about to walk into customs. And for some reason, I thought my mini suitcase would like hold me if I ran up and like sat on it and rolled. And I just went completely arse over tit and she's got it all in video and I literally bend over my suitcase and my legs bend over my legs, over my head. And we showed them that video and they were like, you're on. That's it, you're on the show. And so within 48 hours, my whole life went from I'm sitting in bed, I'm in the worst state I've ever been in my life, to all of a sudden I'm about to be travelling the world with my best friend, going on a telly show that I would watch in my lounge room. And it just goes to show how quickly life can change. And that's that story.
Everything happens for a reason.
It does.
Doesn't it?
It does. I felt like the universe needed to take me out of Perth because I needed to get away from my current situation. Rose-coloured glasses, doll. Yeah, I needed to get out of the situation, so I was away and I was with myself. And I will say the first couple of months on the road were hard. And without Bree, I don't really know where I'd be. She was like my rock during that time. And really got me through that. And I would say, travel guides, it was not only just changed my life in a travelling aspect, which is obviously huge. In that moment, that changed everything because I don't know where I would have ended up or what would have happened or what I would have allowed to keep happening if I had stayed in Perth, you know? So,
Yeah, wow.
It does have a whole, it's more than just travel. It's got like a whole backstory for me. So, pretty amazing.
Well, like you said, you and Bree became close pretty fast. What was it about your pairing that made your friendship feel inevitable, both on camera and off?
Well, Brie and I actually were roommates on Beauty and the Geek. So obviously we spent a lot of time together and, the girls get paired, the boys get paired. And we actually weren't originally meant to be paired. I was supposed to be with someone else and she was supposed to be someone else. But someone else cracked the shits about being paired with someone. So then they had to swap it all around, which in the end was meant to be. But I remember being on the plane going over to Beauty and the Geek, just a small little girl being about to go into something crazy. I was like, even where I was sitting on the plane, I was like, this is so fancy. It was economy. And I was like, oh my God, I'm flying Qantas. It wasn't Jetstar. I was like, oh my Qantas, this is fancy. So funny, so cute. I was so naive. And I remember going on the way over there going, oh God, I hope there's like another girl like me. Otherwise, I'm going to stick out like dog balls. Like I hope there's some other rogue bitches there. And it's kind of like when you meet another big personality, it can either go one or two ways. Mm-hmm. It can either gel or explode.
Clash,
and clash. And I walked into a room where we were all meeting the girls for the first time. And me and Brie just kind of like beeline for each other because I walked in like, and she was already like, and I kind of instantly knew, and she can say the same, we just knew that us two were going to be like sisters. We gelled like... Yeah, it was amazing. So then obviously then we got paired, which was so cool. And we lived together for 2 months in this tiny ass apartment in Sky Suites. We got stitched up, by the way, with the shittest room. But we were like on a level away from everybody else. And we were the two oldest. I was 20... Was I 28? I think I was 28 or 29 and she's 1 year older than me. And the rest of the girls were quite young. Like the youngest girl we had on Beauty and the Geek was 19.
Wow.
So Brie was actually Mama Brie on the show. And I was like, I wasn't Mama Carl's, but I was like kind of a bit older as well. And we were kind of like the mums, the big sisters of the young girls. And I think that's where we really gelled. And, it was like I just met like a soulmate. Like our friendship just immediately blew up and just took off and we have been literally inseparable since.
Well, people see the glam parts like the flights, the destinations, the hotels. But what's the one behind the scenes moment from filming that threw you for a loop?
I think going on TV kind of ruins the magic of TV for you forever. It's the truth. Like we've got some newbies on Travel Guys this year and they kind of like I say to them, is this what you thought it would be like? And they're like, not really. I'm like, I know. It's amazing. Do not get me wrong. It is unreal. And I would do it over and over and over again. But it's not all glitz and glam. You're not flying first class and business everywhere. People always say to me, oh, like, how early are you in hair and makeup? I said, hair and makeup? On what planet? Like it is amazing, but it's not glitz and glam on what you think it would. No,
not Travel Guides anyway.
No, not travel. Even Beauty and the Geek,
Yeah,
it was good. It was like you would have hair and makeup some days and whatnot, but with Travel Guides, I think what makes the show is that they have they'll have like a luxurious element to it, but then they'll also have like a real we're going hostel or we're going camping element to it, and I think that's what makes the show so makes it work. You've got obviously some cast members that are a little bit more, they love that higher end stuff, and then they'll chuck me and Brie in like a caravan, then we have to empty the freaking piss tank and the shit. It's that's what I think makes the show go round. Yeah, I guess you could just say it's not what you would think it is. It is long days, it's a job. It is. And I think a lot of people forget that. It is the best job. Don't get me wrong. Like, I'm not going to be that influencer crying that my job's hard. I'm not even a freaking influencer. But, I'm not going to be like, long days. And no, it's amazing. I'll do it, I'll do it over and over again. But it is a job. You don't get to, when it comes to doing an activity, the activity might go for 2 hours. You'll get 15 minutes of it. That can be the downside to it, especially when you go somewhere that you wanted to go for so long and you don't get to go to the places or do the things that you would necessarily want to do. But yeah, I just think it is the absolute, how it all works is kind of what threw me for six, because you watch it on telly and you only see a snippet. You see the best of that. You don't see the 12-hour day behind when someone's got the shit, someone's left their passport somewhere. That somewhere is me. You don't see everything else. You don't see the delays. You don't see someone spending $28 on a povo fruit salad at a stupid airport, or you just don't see what goes on behind stuff. And trust me, it's not all sunshine and rainbows, but I've got an incredible team that no matter what, everything always works out. Everybody sticks together and you get the job done. Yeah. But it makes it fun. I think that's what makes it fun, because if it was all like luxurious and fun all the time, it would get a bit boring, you know. You need a bit of roughage in there just to spice it up a little bit, and bring you back down to earth and humble you a bit. Like you've just been staying at the Hilton for 5 days. Oh no, we're going to chuck you in a bloody hostel, and it's like, oh, God, Jesus
But that's
Christ.
why you were picked for this, because I think you thrive in that sort of.
I do.
Change. What do they say? You're adaptable.
I am very adaptable. It's so random. I feel like I'm a bit of a chameleon. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, I've experienced like luxurious and like fancy on this show, and I loved it. But then also like we were staying at a hostel in Bangkok, and while I was in this hole in the wall, I felt like I was in like a wombat burrow or something. I had the best sleep of my life in there. But he's like, "What is wrong with you?" I said, "Oh my God, I don't know why I slept so well in there. Like, I'm just very random. Like, I feel like I can just kind of do anything and just adapt to any situation.
Resilient.
Yeah, in a way. Yeah.
So you were saying earlier that you haven't travelled much beyond Bali before filming anyway.
Yeah.
So now you're travelling all over the world. What internal mindset shifts did that force you to adopt?
You're right. I'd only ever really been to Indonesia, really. I'd done a lot of surrounding islands, massive island girl. Love, as everyone knows who, if you follow me on Instagram, I'm just bikinis and islands all the time. It's my favourite holiday, which is why I think I kept going there. But I always knew from a very young age that I would see the world somehow, which is, it's kind of hard when I say that. And, people are like, oh, yeah, sure. But I'm like, no, I promise you, hand on heart. I always knew I'd see the world somehow, and I just never really knew how. I mean, like, you can book a flight, you can go somewhere, but I felt like there was going to be more than that. I felt like there was going to be an experience. It wasn't just going to be me traveling. There was going to be more meaning behind it in a way. When I obviously did get the gig for travel guides, and you start going to all these other different countries, and you're seeing all these different cultures and history and all that kind of stuff. Like, I'm a massive history nut, love history, love museums. I'm a bit of a nerd, like a bit of a geek, and you wouldn't really guess that or think that, but I'm also an animal encyclopedia. As everyone knows, love animals, huge animal fan. And yeah, as you start going around and seeing the world more, and you're kind of getting out there and you're experiencing all these different cultures and different histories, you kind of realize how sheltered you would be if you remained in one place. But it's weird because I always had this like innate knowing, like my soul already, like when I've gone to places, for example, I'd always wanted to go to India, always. And I've talked a little bit about that on my Instagram when I posted about India, but I had like, I'm a very spiritual person, always was raised that way. And I, just had this like longing to go there. But no one would ever come with me. And everyone's like, we're going to India, like, blah, blah, blah. It's a long far away. And like, there's all these beautiful places in the world. And I think India gets a bit of a bad rap. So when I found out I was going there, it came at a really good time in my life, like when I really, really needed it. And when I got there, everyone's like, oh, be prepared to be for a culture shock and, just be prepared.
Yeah. And
when you get there, it is somewhat, but I felt very calm and almost like I had experienced this before. I didn't feel shocked as a sense. It's like, it almost like felt like I'd come back home to myself. It was really odd. I loved it. It was amazing. People still say now, like, you've been to Cook Islands, you've been to Switzerland, you've been to Peru, the Amazon, which was, I'm not even going to talk about that. I'll start bloody crying. That was amazing. But India, just like, it was a kind of a pivotal turning point for me in my life where I realised how important travel is and how important it is experiencing other cultures, experiencing the history of those places. Like, you've got Varanasi over in India, which is the oldest city in the world, and quite confronting. And we didn't go there for, if you know what Varanasi is, you know why we wouldn't film there. But me and my partner are going to go back and we're going to go experience Varanasi and stuff like that. So really, I wasn't really forced to adopt anything. It's kind of like I just almost just, I don't know, it was very fluid. I felt very normal. Yeah. The only thing I had to force myself to do was just sit on the plane for that long because, God, that was...
How long is the flight?
So we flew from, I flew from Perth to Sydney to New Delhi, New Delhi to Paris, India to Nepal, Nepal back to New Delhi, New Delhi to Paris, Paris to New Delhi, New Delhi to Sydney, Sydney to Perth. So it's a lot. Yeah. But, I think all the travel really just opens your mind to how small you are and how big and wide the world is, and that everything is not that deep, and how much you love your own country. Nothing beats coming home. I knew that I loved my country. I'm the most bogan bitch ever. I love Australia and I'm so proud to be Australian. But you don't realise really how much you love your country until you go away.
And how lucky we are.
And how lucky we are until you come back. Like after our Paris trip, me and Brie had a little bit of a whoopsie daisies in Paris and someone tried to break into our room on our last night. It was pretty awful actually, yeah. And it wasn't good. That was a bit scary. And when we flew home, when we saw the waters of Sydney, we saw the ocean, we both just burst into tears because we're like, oh, we are home, we are safe. And, you know, for anyone watching this, listening to this and you really haven't travelled much, go travel. It's amazing. It's beautiful to experience different places, of course. Like I find myself in awe all the time when I'm walking down the street, when I'm speaking to random people. You know, I'm seeing these 9 bloody wonders. Is there 9 wonders of the world? Oh, God, I should know this. I'm seeing the Taj Mahal. I'm seeing, you know, all of this kind of stuff, so much history. But coming home, there's nothing like it. Yeah.
You can drink the water.
You can drink the
It's your
water.
pillow. Yeah.
Everything.
Yeah.
You can take a big deep breath, you know. So there's a few little things there, but I would say
it's all worth it.
Yeah.
So how do you create boundaries or self-care when the filming demands push you to your extremes? So like your early starts, your constant packing, you're in performance mode all the time.
Yeah. I'm really grateful that I got this opportunity to do this at my age now. I'm 32 and not when I was in my early 20s. Because, you know, I was a bit rogue. I still can be a little bit, but I was pretty rogue. And I love to party, love to bender. And, you know, going to different countries, I just felt like I just would have got on the sauce and I just would have gone out. And because I would still go to work, I just fear that, you know, I would have not have taken it as seriously. But now that I am the age that I am and I've really matured and I feel like, you know, I was saying to you before, I feel like my frontal lobe's only developed in like the last year and a half. I feel like I am so grateful and have so much gratitude and appreciation to what I do that I do need to show up every single day, no matter what's going on in my personal life, no matter, you know, if we've had some issues on the road because, you know, everyone gets tired and it's a lot of travel and people miss home and mishaps happen and, you know, whatnot. So I think like my boundaries for myself are not going out is one of them. Obviously, enjoy your time. Go have a wine after you filmed. Go out for dinner. Explore the city if you have time. Or, you know, normally when we'll go out and have a bit of a party will be the wrap up of the trip. So in Thailand. Had a big one in Thailand in Koh Samui. That was really fun. But it wasn't just me. It was all of us. But I woke up the next day and I had on my phone, I had a photo of me holding an iguana on the beach, this bright orange iguana. I'm like, what? I don't even fucking remember doing that. And my friend, or Teng, was like, you gave the guy like $200. And I was like, what? So I gave him all my money to hold his iguana. And then also, that's not even the worst. There was a video of me doing jump rope, which is fire. Yeah, good times. Anyway, I did not feel too crash hot the next day. But you've got to let loose and have a bit of fun. But I think it's all about staying somewhat professional. You know, you need to remember that you are representing who you're representing and what you're doing, and that there are a million people that would want to be in your position. So I think your boundaries are, you know, looking after yourself, getting sleep. I think that people have this massive perception of me and Brie that we're like these young party girls. I cannot begin to tell you the opposite. It is the opposite. Like, we went to Vegas in our first year. We didn't go out once. We went out the last night. We were sober. We had one drink and we were home within 3 hours. You know, all the other nights we had the opportunity to go out in Vegas. We had tickets to Fisher if we wanted to at Omnia. We had tickets to Travis Scott. Do you think we went? Absolutely not. We went and got Macca's and went to bed every night. We were so tired. I'm literally somewhat a bit of a grandma, but I have to force myself to actually go, you know what, you might not ever come back to this place again. Go out. Yeah. Go out. So I think that's probably a big one. And, you know, just reminding yourself on the mornings when you wake up bright and early and you're filming again and you're just like, you're grateful to be here. You're grateful. This is amazing. This is anyone would die to be in your position. So just remember that. Humble yourself a little bit sometimes because, you know, we can all be a bit like that for sure, no matter what. You know, I'm sure there's millionaires out there that's like, I don't want to drive this Ferrari today. I don't like this colour of this one. You know what I mean? We can all get a little bit like that. And I'm the first to put my hand up and say I can get like that sometimes, but I also can humble myself very quickly and go, bitch, you could be doing a 9 to 5 and you're here doing this. So just...
That's how you've come so far in this industry though, isn't it? You know, you show up.
Yeah. Just show up. Just believe in yourself and show up. Get good sleep. You know, don't go out all the time and just...
Be smart.
Yeah. Be smart. Yeah.
So any nightmare travel moments that you guys laugh about now or at the time you were like, I'm done?
Yeah. There's been a couple.
Yeah.
I reckon the worst one was definitely probably when our room nearly got broken into in Paris. In Paris. Actually, that's like a whole nother story, but it was pretty scary. You know, me and Brie on our last night in Paris, it was actually someone from the hotel. So that wasn't very good. We ended up having to make a statement at the police station and I was so severely hungover. It was awful. So I was like in the cop station like try not to vomit. Bree's traumatised. Like even now she's still like it's actually a really serious situation. It was awful. I'm not going to make light of it or laugh about it, but we came out and we were okay. So that was a bit of a nightmare situation because it could have ended
way worse. All
I have to say is just girls and guys, just be so aware of your situation. Like be aware of your surrounds. It's not good. But Bree will laugh when she watches this. Also, in our India trip, we did a little stint in Nepal. I came down with a chest infection from hell and I sounded like a barking dog. It was awful. And we were filming one day and we had to go up a gondola up this big mountain in Nepal. And they wanted us to go look at Mount, oh my God, what's the mountain called in Nepal? I'm going to butcher this. What the hell's that mountain called? I'm not going to say Mount Fuji, that's Japan. It's like the biggest mountain in the... Oh, anyway, they wanted us to look at this big famous mountain. And it was a very cloudy day, so it was all a bit of a gag because when we went up to the top of this thing, we weren't going to see it, right? And there was these metal stairs and it was pouring down with rain. And it was pouring down with rain. And Bree goes, oh, I don't know if I really want to go up those stairs. Like I'm a bit scared I'm going to fall. Lo and behold, what happens? Sis falls down a flight of stairs, lands on her ass, and I genuinely thought she had broke her back. The howl that she let out was, we can laugh about it now, but it wasn't funny at the time. She flew down a flight of stairs and landed on her back, and everyone knew it was serious from the noise that came out of her. We had to carry her. I thought she had broken her coccyx, like broken her tailbone, which she low-key did. But we ended up getting her back to the room and we couldn't film the rest of Nepal. So we didn't film it. Pretty much you'll watch the India-Nepal episode. We're not in it at all in the Nepal bit because I was dying of a chest infection. She's bloody broken her ass. And then we had to go back to India and she was getting ready to have a shower. And I just looked at her from the corner of my eye and I saw this black blue thing and I just went, I was like, she's like, what? I was like, your ass is black. She's like, what do you mean? I said, Brie, your ass is black. And I took a photo and her whole ass cheek is blue and black. Like I've never seen anything like it in my life. Sis soldiered on. She just sucked it up, soldiered on. She was in so much pain. Gets home and she has literally cracked her coccyx and now she still has a hematoma there from the first season and now we're in our third. So that was awful. I thought she'd broken her back and died. It was not good. And I reckon one more. I reckon for me, the worst one is I got really sick in Thailand. We went down Koh San Road and there was a lady at the front. You're going to laugh. There was a lady at the front with sugar gliders. You know those little possums?
Yes.
Yeah, she had like a bunch of them and I had a bucket by then of this like rocket fuel. I was like, oh my God, freaking out that there's sugar gliders there, right? I was like, can I hold them? Can I hold them? I got a video of me on my phone. I'm like holding these sugar gliders. I can't believe I'm cutting. And there was like a mole rat in there. It was so random. Everyone's like, Carly, put it down. Like, stop touching the animals. Like, I get told off all the time. Stop touching the animals. I said, stop telling me to do that because I'm never going to not touch the animals. Like, I'll even touch the dogs with like mange and stuff. I'm like, come here, Bubba. Like, I'll give them all the animals all the love. Anyway, so I'm cuddling all these bloody sugar gliders and everyone's like, get in the bus. We need to go. We're leaving now. So I get back in the bus. And we're eating Macca's, and I've woken up the next morning going, I'm not good. Like, I'm not well. And Brie goes, oh, well, did you wash your hands after you held those sugar gliders? And I was like, no. She goes, and then you were eating your cheeseburger, and then you were eating your chips and your nuggets. I'm like, oh, fuck. So I think I got sick from holding these little creatures, these dirty little creatures. They were so bloody cute, but and holy shit, sis was not well. Like, I was in this, it was in the hostel, by the way, so I'm perishing on a hostel floor. I'm in a hostel shower. There is mold in the corner. I'm on the floor naked, Bree's rubbing my back. It's coming out
like
both
gastro,
ends.
yeah,
it was awful. And so I had to miss the next segment of the trip, which they got a sleeping train from Bangkok up to Chiang Mai. And I was bawling my eyes out because I was so upset. I was like, I don't want to miss the sleeping train. And my producer at the time was going, Hannes, you're not going to be upset that you've missed this, I promise. Anyway, I was so upset. So I had to stay back for the night and they were going to fly me to Chiang Mai, very short flight, 45 minutes. And my travel mum, at the time we call them our mums, stayed back with me. And they ended up putting me up in this hotel and I got put in the Princess Presidential Suite. So whilst I'm sitting in this bed, it's got 3 bedrooms, it's got 3 lounge rooms, 3 balconies, it's like a bath, a spa. I'm ordering room service, haven't eaten in bloody over 30 hours. I'm irate because I've not stopped vomiting and shitting. And I like messaging Brie and she's like, this is hell, this sleep train is awful. And I'm living it up like a queen just in this like, princess. It was called the Presidential Suite and I'm just like living it up in this presidential suite. And then they, I got a bit better and I was feeling a bit sorry for myself, but then I just like ordered all these eggs on toast and all this fruit and it came to like $200. I didn't realize because I was at like, it was like an egg on toast and fruit and a Diet Coke and I was like, $200, I had to pay it. So yeah, that would be like my nightmare, which then turned into like a dream. But then even after that, we had to fly to Chiang Mai and on the way to the airport, our taxi broke down. And then there was already a taxi broken down in front of it and the police had pulled them over. So then the police gave us an escort the Thai police gave us an escort to the airport. They were doing like 150 down the freeway, taking photos with us, like asking us if they Google translating, can we take photos with you? And like, I'm like, can you look at the road, hun? And I've got all these, like, what is my life? Like, you know what I mean? Like
chaos.
It's just chaos. Like when you look at the photos, I documented it all, but I look awful because I'd just been violently ill fighting for my life. I was like, I don't really know if I'm going to put that out there, but yeah, so that was probably my holy, that's not good Momo.
Do you get vaccinations and stuff before you go travelling? You have to?
I've had every vaccination under the sun. I actually am about to go pick up some malaria tablets tomorrow because I'm going somewhere which has high risk malaria.
Yeah.
The only one I haven't had, which should be the one that I should have, is rabies. Yeah. That's because it's like 3 needles and you need to space it out. And every time I'm home, I'm like, I don't have enough time.
Yeah.
And
you should probably get onto that.
You should probably get the rabies shot, considering I
touch all the animals.
But yeah, pretty much had every vaccine you could think of.
Well, so do you think the version of you on travel guides is the real Carly?
I would say that I am definitely 100% myself, kind of unknowingly. You forget that the cameras are there. And I find it really hard kind of to conform to, like, I'm not an actor. Do you know what I mean? Like, my pop always says to me, oh, got to get on Home and Away, Carls. I'm like, Pop, I'm not an actor. Like, I can't read a line and remember it, can't remember to save my life. So what you see is exactly, what it is. Although I feel like it's almost like a PG version of me. Like sometimes, like, I'll be watching it with my family and my brother will be like, that's so not you. Because they have to PG it down. It's a family show. It's
no
a PG.
Swearing,
no swearing. Which that was a bit of a shock. Everyone that knows me knows I love a cheeky C-bomb and, all in good, it's just who I am. It is exactly who I am. I can read a room though. I can definitely read a room. And when I first started filming, I think it was a bit of a shock to everyone. It's like, oh, she looks like that. She opens up her mouth and she sounds like bloody Joe Dirt. You know what I mean? It's so random. But yeah, I would say somewhat. It absolutely is authentically 100% me. But then, yeah, just like a bit of a filtered version, I guess you could say. Yeah, if there was a Travel Guides After Dark, I always say it'd be so funny. They should do it because it's so funny. Like people, like I watch the show now, and because I know all the cast members, because we're all together all the time, obviously. And I'm like, oh, I know you differently to what you are on telly. Do you know? So I guess people would think that about me. Like, I ever wonder if there's like people that I used to like bender with or party with or like go to school and they're like, watch, like, she's so much worse than that or whatever. But I feel like in my old age, and I'm going to say old age, it's not really old, I'm only 32, I've really simmered down. Absolutely. I've really, simmered down. Like, I always say if I met my 20-year-old self now, I'd punch me in the face. I'd be like, oh, you absolute feral bitch. So I like to think that I've, really come into myself as a woman now. I've really got to know myself and, yeah, I'm not as rogue, but yeah, they do have to go, no, can't say that, or without the F word, or rephrase that, please say boobs, not titties, or you're not allowed to say titties and you're not allowed to say dick, you have to say, what are you allowed to say? I think it's like cock or something. I can't remember. I don't know. We're just in Ireland, and I can say that because they literally posted it on 9 Now. And we went to the Leprechaun Museum, and they were basically like, I didn't know this, but apparently like the legend of leprechauns is that they've got massive cocks and that they're like hell horny, weird little creatures. And they were telling us this legend of like these rapey, horny little leprechauns and that they had massive dicks. And I was like, but I wasn't allowed to say, I'm like, well, how am I not allowed to say these words when this is what is being presented to me? So yeah, you get like a filtered version. Yeah. But it's funny because people like will say things in the comments, be like, these girls are just acting and they're really putting it on. I'm like, unfortunately, Susan, I'm not. That's actually me. Or like she really sounds so like bogan. She's really putting on that accent. I'm like, hun, this is exactly what it is. Like, try being me.
People who know you, they know that's you.
100%. Yeah. 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 It's funny. It's good.
So traveling so often, how do you stay grounded and what do your skincare and beauty routines look like when you're on the go?
How do I stay grounded? I think the best thing to stay grounded when you are traveling so much and as frequently as you do is to kind of keep your routine per se what you would do at home. And my skincare, it's funny that you say that, is a huge one for me. Like, I'll be doing skincare in the bush. Like, I've got my bag of O Cosmetics. Shout out Love Beauty. I'm just literally always doing my skincare. No matter what, I make sure I take time to do that because your skin's your biggest organ. It's your first thing that everyone looks at, Don't look at my skin at the moment. It's really bad. I'm going through some hormonal issues. But normally it's pretty good. So I would say, keeping up with your skincare routine makes you feel confident for sure when your skin looks good, because some days you just, you don't want to be putting on makeup. I wouldn't put makeup on at all if it wasn't a requirement. I'd just go like, every day with my skin bare. So yeah, doing stuff like that. What else? Trying to eat good because, I love my food and I tend to overeat a lot when I'm on the road. Actually, you can overeat and you can undereat. Just depends on where you are. There's always snacks available and if something's there, I will eat it. So just trying to really stay, in that kind of routine with your gymming, with your walking. That can be a hard one. That can be really, really hard and you're knackered. So, a bit of an excuse, but there are some days I'm just like, I'm not doing that. I cannot be bothered. But you've walked a lot during the day anyway, so, And I think just if I'm feeling a bit homesick or whatnot, I'll just sit through my phone and look at photos of everyone and rewatch videos or, FaceTiming and stuff like that. And yeah, just trying to keeping your routine, I think is what kind of keeps you grounded. Can be hard though, because you can go to some places and you can be like, I'm really not vibing this, or, you're really tired, or, you've had to really show up to the camera, even though, personal things can happen, when you're on the road, or you've left home maybe not on a good foot, or something's gone down or whatever. And, you have to show up no matter what to the camera, and that can be draining. They can be draining. You know, I'm like an introverted extrovert. It's really weird. Like my whole life I felt like I was extroverted. And then as I've gotten older and I'm like, oh my God, no, I need my downtime. And it's funny because, you know, everyone will go out for dinner together or whatnot. I'm like, guys, I'm just going to go to my room and I'm just going to chill on my own. And no one takes offense to that now. Everyone's like, what's wrong with Carly? Like, because she's so bubbly and bright during the day. But then I hit a point and my social battery is zoom.
You need to recharge.
Yeah. And I think staying true to yourself and going, no, I need some time. Just nothing personally against anybody, but I just need to be on my own for a bit, you know, or go for a walk on my own. Or just go have a bath, go have a shower, go wash and blow dry my hair, do my skin, you know, makes me feel so much better. So just stuff like that, keeping on top of that. Yeah.
And it sounds like you've sort of got a good grasp on that now. You're, 3 years in.
Yep.
You've got that.
Yeah, I've got it down packed. Yeah. My skincare bag is like the one thing that I care about the most. Like I'm like, oh my God, if my luggage gets lost, I don't have my skincare. So I always make sure I have a little bit of something in my carry-on because I'm like, I'm not using bloody some povo shit somewhere. Like if I get lost without my bag for like a week, I'll be devo. Or like one time I thought I actually left my skincare bag somewhere in France and I had a mental breakdown. I was like, there's like $1,000 worth of like cosmetics and osmosis and all Medicaid and all this other stuff in there. Anyway, it was in my bag, but I freaked out. Like not even my passport. Didn't care where my passport was. I was like, where's my skincare bag? It's a lot though, you know. Like, you know, I mean, we're in our 30s now and it's which is like how we became friends. You know, I was like to you, girl, I feel like I need a little bit of something because I never had anything before. But you do see little signs that, you know, the collagen and the elasticity is just not what it used to be. And I think now being on camera, you care about that a little bit more. And, you know, you still got to look good, you know, no matter what, you've got to look good. So I think, yeah, just looking after yourself is important.
And speaking of looking good, so you have, Travel Guides has won Logie the past 3 years, the 3 years you've been doing it for your category. So how was that attending the Logies, meeting other celebrities, things like that?
Yeah.
How did you find that?
Insane. Wild. Never in my wildest dreams did I ever think little Carly Fisher from Darrow Jarrow went to John Wilcock Senior. I don't even think it's called John Wilcock anymore. Didn't even finish year 10. Did I finish? I can't even remember if I finished year 10 or not. No, I started year 11. Definitely didn't finish. Would be sitting in a prestigious room at the most prestigious awards of Australia with some of the most highly regarded people in Australia. And I'm just sitting there at a table. My name's on a little thing, says Carly on my name. And I'm just like, I remember my first Logies, I just was like kind of sitting in that room and I just had like a bit of a moment and I was just like, what am I doing here? And that's kind of where my imposter syndrome really kicked. But like, I try to just block that and be like, enjoy your time. Guy Sebastian's on the stage. So is Jessica Malboy. We're singing Johnny Farnham. Get over yourself. Enjoy it, sis. Like, you know, you wouldn't be here if you weren't meant to be here. The doors wouldn't have opened for you if they weren't meant to open. And I'm such a big believer in like, you are exactly where you are meant to be you know, you're exactly where you're meant to be in the time you're there. And it was pretty surreal. It was very, when we won it, because we've won it 3 years in a row now. And, you know, they said, you know, Travel Guides, they called out our name. I just remember I burst into tears because I don't know what the emotion was that took over me. It was kind of just like all your hard work, you know, for that 6 months, all that hard work, blood, sweat and tears, because, you know, it can be rough, it can be rogue on the road. You've just been, you know, recognised for it. Yeah. And it's not just us cast. It's without, like, we're just one element. It is the biggest operation you've ever seen. Like, there are 30 of us on the road at any one time. There are 150 pieces of camera and sound luggage, like Kane. Wow. Like, whenever we rock up to an airport, you just can see all the stuff going, oh, fuck, shit, like, trying to get us all in. You've got, you know, your producers. You've got your series producers. You've got, again, cast, your soundos, your camos. You've got the people that work in the office. We can't forget about them. They might not be on the road, but they're organising the trips. They're booking everything. They're doing all this. They're doing all that. It is such a big operation. And, you know, what you see on the telly, you know, you sit in your lounge room and you get laughs and you're having belly laughs, you're enjoying your time, but really it's like the tip of the iceberg. What goes on underneath is huge. And I think It is so well deserved, and that's not me being biased, but yeah, it is so well deserved. And to take it out a second year in the row, oh my God, that was amazing. Yeah, that was really, really, really cool. But yeah, the Logies is an amazing experience. You know, I shamelessly, I can fangirl, so embarrassing. And I would say probably like, I'm pretty cool, I'm pretty chill, I'm okay. But there was one person that I really fangirled over, and that was, can you guess who it was?
Who?
Robert Irwin. I full blown, no, you're going to laugh. So his dad is one of my biggest heroes in the whole wide world. Terry, Robert, Bindi, if you ever see this, please get me on the Wildlife Warriors Ambassadors team. I really want to come work with you. Loved their dad, loved Steve Irwin. And the day he passed away, I can honestly say was one of the worst days of my life. I remember it so vividly. And I hold this family in such high regard. I think they are just the most beautiful, most inspirational, like ambassadors for Australia even. And yeah, I've watched them all grow up. I've watched little Robert in nappies, like probably old enough to be his freaking mother. But yeah, there was like, it was at the first Logies, and when you're in the big room, as you're walking out, you have to walk down this hall to get to the toilets. And as I'm walking out, now I hadn't even had a wine at this point, so I can't even blame it on being drunk. And he's coming forward, and Bree just hits me, right Owen. And I just was like, oh my God. I said, oh my God. And Bree's like, I'm so sorry, Bob, but we're just going to have to stop you. Like my friend Carly here, like really just, and I just like was like, hello. So embarrassing. I'm so embarrassed. And he was like, oh, hello, Carly. I'm like, you know, in his voice. And I'm like, I was through tears. I'm basically saying to him, I really love you. I idolize you. I loved your dad. Your dad was one of my biggest heroes, my biggest inspirations. And this man stood there and listened to everything I had to say and just took it with so much grace and listened to me. And you know, I was like a crazy fan, like bawling my eyes out because I was just so happy to meet this man. And he was so graceful, and he's exactly what you think he'd be. So much like his dad, so much like, never met Steve, but like I've watched 1,000 hours of him. And he is exactly like you would think, and exactly like his dad. And that was like, I didn't even get to get a photo with him because like, he's like, would you like a photo? I said, oh no, I'm crying, and like, I don't think I should get a photo right now. But he's like, we'll get one later. Never got one later. Oh. Like it's a lot. The Logies is a lot.
The time will come.
The time will come. Yeah. So that was probably my biggest fangirl moment. But yeah, the Logies is an incredible experience, and I'm so honoured that I get to sit in a room with all those people and accept the award on behalf of Travel Guides. It's pretty cool.
And hopefully more to come.
Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. Hopefully we beat who is our biggest competitor? Not the Block, was it? We were in the lifestyle program. I can't remember. But there's some pretty good shows in that category. Like you still have to be like, oh, I don't know, but like Better Homes and Gardens. I mean, no, whatever. Although I did love watching that growing up. There was Better Homes and Gardens. I should know this, but somehow I ended up, with the card where they read travel guides. So it was the beautiful, the sexy. What do they call them? On MAFS, what are they? Not the judges. What are they? The people on MAFS. The
panel.
No, what do they call them? Oh. Like the people on the MAFS. The people put us together.
Experts.
The experts. So somehow I actually ended up with the thing that you open up and it says the winner of the lifestyle program is Travel Guides. And she, the beautiful like Latina one, what's her name? I always forget her name. Melina? I don't know. Probably stuff that up. Don't come for me. She handed it to me, gave me a big kiss and a cuddle, and somehow I managed to hang on to that the whole night. Don't know how. I hang on to that the whole night because I went to the after party. And I woke up and I had it somehow. No. I got home and I opened my suitcase and I was back in bed. I said, why the fuck do I have this? Like, how did I have this? It's huge. Wouldn't have fit in my bag. I don't know how I ended up with that. I should have brought it in.
Carried it all night.
I carried it all night. I was proud, clearly.
For memories.
Yeah, for memes. I'm a little bit sentimental like that. I've heaps of random stuff. It's so weird.
Well, Carly, thank you for bringing that signature energy. Honest, hilarious, and a little bit chaotic. Just how we like it. You're proof that adventure doesn't have to make sense. It just has to make memories.
Yeah.
So if you haven't already, go give her a follow and catch Travel Guides for your next binge. We'll see you next week on the Blume Edit. This is the Blume Edit. Unfiltered, unscripted, and unapologetic. Subscribe now and tune in weekly.